Sean "Diddy" Combs has long been a symbol of hip-hop success and entrepreneurial ambition, a name synonymous with reinvention and hustle. From the streets of Harlem to the boardrooms of global corporations, Diddy's journey is a testament to the power of vision, resilience, and relentless drive. Known first as Puff Daddy, he founded Bad Boy Records in the early 1990s, a label that would forever change the landscape of hip-hop and R&B. With a keen ear for talent, he launched the careers of legends like the Notorious Big, Faith Evans, and Ma Dollar E, shaping the sound of an era and bringing East Coast hip-hop to the forefront of popular culture. Combs didn't just produce hits, he created an entire movement. His ability to blend hip-hop and R&B into a global phenomenon made him a tastemaker, influencing music, fashion, and lifestyle. His collaborations and remixes set trends, and his presence was felt in every corner of the industry. As an artist, Diddy became a Grammy-winning superstar with albums like No Way Out, known for his cinematic music videos, high-energy performances, and larger-than-life persona. He was never afraid to be bold, whether on stage or in front of the camera, and his charisma made him a household name. But Diddy's ambitions extended far beyond music. He saw opportunity everywhere, and his entrepreneurial spirit led him to explore new industries and break barriers that few in hip-hop had ever crossed. He launched the Sean John clothing line, bringing street style to the runway and earning accolades in the world of fashion. His designs became a staple for a generation, and the brand won a Council of Fashion Designers of America award, cementing his influence beyond music. Diddy also turned Ciroc vodka into a luxury brand, using his marketing genius to transform a little-known spirit into a global powerhouse. His business acumen and relentless self-promotion made him a mogul, respected by peers and admired by fans. From humble Harlem roots to billionaire entrepreneur, Combs' story inspired millions to dream bigger and work harder. He became a symbol of what's possible when talent meets determination, and his influence reached far beyond music and business. Today, at 55, he's a father of 7, often presenting himself as a devoted family man. He shares moments of fatherhood and family life on social media, showing a softer, more personal side to the world. Yet, this carefully crafted image now faces its greatest test. Recent events have cast a shadow over his legacy, raising questions about the man behind the brand. Serious legal challenges threaten not just his freedom, but the empire and reputation he's spent decades building. The stakes have never been higher, and the world is watching closely. As Diddy's future hangs in the balance, his story serves as a reminder of the heights one can reach, and how quickly it can all be called into question. The empire began to crumble, its foundations shaken by a series of explosive allegations and mounting legal pressure. Once the king of hip-hop and a mogul with an untouchable reputation, Diddy found himself at the center of a storm that no amount of fame or fortune could shield him from. The lavish parties, the red carpets, and the endless headlines about his success faded into the background, replaced by whispers of scandal and the cold reality of the justice system closing in. It all came to a head when a sweeping federal investigation led to a dramatic and highly publicized trial. The world watched as Diddy, once celebrated for his business acumen and larger-than-life persona, was forced to confront the consequences of his actions in a court of law. In July 2025, after weeks of testimony and intense media scrutiny, a jury found Sean Combs guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. However, he was acquitted of the more serious charges of racketeering and sex trafficking, a partial relief for his defense but still a devastating blow to his legacy. Since his arrest in September 2024, Combs has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The stark, imposing facility stands in sharp contrast to the opulence he once enjoyed, serving as a daily reminder of how far he has fallen from his former life of luxury and influence. His legal team has fought tirelessly to secure his release, filing motion after motion and arguing that he poses no threat to the public. Yet, each attempt has been met with resistance, as the presiding judge continues to cite serious public safety concerns and the gravity of the charges. Now, with sentencing set for October 3, 2025, the courtroom has become a battleground. Prosecutors and defense attorneys are locked in a fierce debate, each side presenting arguments over what they believe is a fair and just sentence for the fallen star. The defense is pushing for a lenient sentence, arguing that 2 years would be sufficient punishment given the circumstances and Combs' lack of prior convictions. They emphasize his philanthropic work and the positive impact he's had on the community. Meanwhile, prosecutors are demanding a much longer term, insisting that the severity of the crimes and the need for deterrence warrant a harsher penalty. They argue that anything less would send the wrong message to the public. In a last-ditch effort, Combs' legal team recently offered a staggering $50 million bail package, hoping to convince the court that he should be allowed to await sentencing at home under strict supervision. The offer includes property, cash, and a promise of round-the-clock monitoring. Now all eyes are on Judge Arun Subramanian, who faces the difficult decision of whether Diddy will spend the coming months behind bars or return to his home under house arrest as he awaits his fate. The next chapter in this high-profile saga is about to unfold. Amid the legal chaos, a surprising figure has re-emerged: Gina Huynh, Combs' ex-girlfriend. Their 5-year on-and-off relationship was tabloid fodder, marked by glamour and volatility. Huynh was listed as a key witness in the case, expected to testify under subpoena as Victim 3. But when called to the stand, she didn't appear, leaving a gap in the prosecution's case and fueling speculation about her motives. Now Huynh has broken her silence, not in court, but in a letter to Judge Subramanian. Instead of testifying against Combs, she's now advocating for his release. Her unexpected plea has added a new twist to an already complex legal battle. Huygh's letter is shocking given her past. In 2019, she publicly accused Combs of brutal physical abuse during their relationship, detailing violent incidents that painted a dark picture. These allegations made her a crucial witness for the prosecution, expected to help establish a pattern of violence. Her willingness to speak out once gave weight to the case against Combs. Now, her reversal, pleading for his release, raises questions about her motivations and credibility. What changed between her public accusations and her current support? The contradiction leaves the court and public searching for answers. Gina Huygh's letter to the judge marks a dramatic and unexpected turnaround in the case. Once seen as a key figure for the prosecution, her decision to write directly to the court has sent shockwaves through both legal teams and the public following the trial. The letter, written in her own hand, is more than just a statement. It's a deeply personal appeal that reveals her shifting perspective on the man at the center of this controversy. Huynh, who was once expected to testify against Combs, now steps forward as a character witness for the defense. Her words carry the weight of someone who has seen both sides of the story, and her willingness to speak up for Combs is a testament to the complexity of their relationship and the case itself. In her letter, Huynh argues passionately that Combs is not the same man he once was. She describes a transformation she claims to have witnessed firsthand, urging the judge to consider granting him bail. Her words are carefully chosen, painting a picture of remorse and change, and she pleads for the court to see beyond the accusations and into the possibility of redemption. This heartfelt plea stands in direct opposition to the prosecution's narrative, which insists that Combs remains a danger to the community. Huygh's letter challenges that assertion, offering a counterpoint that is both emotional and strategic. Far from being a passive gesture, Huygh's letter is an active campaign to help Combs regain his freedom. She has taken a public stand, risking her own reputation to advocate for someone she once accused, and her actions have not gone unnoticed by the legal community. While her absence from the witness stand was notable, this letter may prove even more significant. It is a bold move, one that could sway the judge's opinion and alter the course of the proceedings. The defense has seized on Huygh's words, using her letter to bolster their case. They now point to a former accuser who believes Combs has changed, arguing that her support is evidence of his rehabilitation and diminished risk. The timing of this letter is critical. As the defense pushes for bail, they present a massive financial package and highlight Huygh's support as a key factor in their argument. Every detail is scrutinized, and the stakes could not be higher. Huygh's support adds a powerful personal dimension to the defense's case. Her willingness to stand by Combs despite their complicated history resonates with those watching the case unfold and may influence the judge's decision. Now the judge must weigh Huygh's heartfelt plea alongside the legal arguments and emotional stakes. The outcome of this decision could change the trajectory of the entire trial, making Huygh's letter a pivotal moment in the courtroom drama. In her letter, Huynh acknowledges their troubled past but insists Combs has changed. She claims he's no longer violent, writing, "To my knowledge, he has not been violent for many years." Rather than retracting her past allegations, she focuses on his recent behavior, arguing he's grown and matured. Huynh emphasizes Combs's role as a father, describing his children's emotional and financial dependence on him. She paints him as a devoted parent whose absence harms his family. Huynh also vouches for his respectful conduct during the legal process, arguing he's not a flight risk. Her letter combines personal growth, family devotion, and legal compliance to make her case. It's a calculated appeal to the judge's sense of compassion and justice. The defense hopes this humanizing portrait will tip the scales in Combs' favor. The question remains, will it be enough? The prosecution remains unmoved by Huynh's letter. They argue federal law requires Combs' detention, and that his case doesn't warrant exceptions. Prosecutors insist he poses a continued danger, citing a long history of violence and intimidation. They warn that his wealth and influence could be used to obstruct justice or harm others. The prosecution also claims Combs has shown no real remorse, viewing his public relations efforts as manipulative. They're seeking a much longer sentence, reinforcing their opposition to any bail. Combs' defense team counters with a narrative of redemption and family. They highlight the jury's acquittal on the most serious charges, arguing Combs has every reason to comply with the law. His role as a father is central to their plea, emphasizing the suffering of his 7 children. The defense points to his cooperation and respectful conduct since the investigation began. They argue the $50 million bail package and strict monitoring would ensure he appears for sentencing. Their case blends logic and emotion, urging the judge to see Combs as a changed man, not a threat. The decision now rests with the court. Judge Arun Subramanian faces a difficult decision, balancing public safety, family hardship, and the principles of justice. The prosecution warns of danger and manipulation, while the defense pleads for compassion and family unity. Huynh's letter adds complexity, forcing the judge to weigh conflicting accounts and motivations. The law presumes detention unless exceptional circumstances exist. Is a $50 million bond, a former accuser's support, and acquittal on major charges enough? The judge's ruling will set a precedent for how the justice system weighs risk, redemption, and family. For Sean Combs, the outcome will determine not just his immediate future, but the legacy he leaves behind. The world waits for the judge's decision.